and by Murphy Builder Supply on Northeast Broad Street in downtown Jesup, and Mike Birch Ford in Blackshear. And Bob, we've got two different sets of guests in this morning, and we'll go ahead and start with our first one. First time she'll be on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, one of many, the new executive director, president, whatever your official title is. What is it?
Executive Director for the Chamber.
Executive Director.
Yes.
Dina Bennett.
Yes.
Good morning, Dina.
Good morning. Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
All right, Bob, go ahead.
All right, Jim. We've been following the story, and you took over June 1st was your first day being the Chamber Director. So, first of all, congratulations on receiving the job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I actually started Monday, so started on the 4th. This is day 3, getting my feet wet a little bit, but...
Well, for those not familiar with you, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background,
okay,
and why you pursued this position.
Sure. I was born and raised in Blackshear, Georgia, just across the river. Been here in Wayne County, live in Scriven. Been here for about 17 years. My background is marketing. I've primarily done outside sales for several years. First job I took in Wayne County was with the Patterson Bank back in '97, so I worked there for several years. Also worked for Cheryl Rentz when he had Jesup office products. So I was doing some outside selling for him. Got to know a lot of people in the community, primarily through those two positions. Done some healthcare marketing and such in the various communities around Wayne County. Before coming on with the Chamber, I was working for a nursing facility in Brunswick as the admissions coordinator in marketing. I've had the desire for several years to get back to Wayne County, to the community where I live and raising my family. So the Chamber job came open, and it was very appealing to me that I could get back to our community, get to know and get involved with our businesses here and make Wayne County even better than it is already.
It is all about the businesses and volunteers. So they said you started June 1st. So tell us a little bit about what's the staff right now down at the Chamber. Who do you have working down there?
Currently in the office, we have Lisa Massey as our administrative assistant. She's come on full time since Christy and Molly left, and she's done a great job. So the last 2 days, I've probably asked her 1,000,002 questions, trying to decide, which direction to go. Make sure we didn't drop the ball on anything, and kind of see where I needed to start so that we didn't miss anything. So, of course, we've got the Legacy Dinner coming up in a couple of weeks, so that's been our main focus right now. I'm very excited about that event, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. I was so glad I was able to come on before that event took place.
Have you been to a Legacy Dinner before?
I have not.
You've been to Taste of Wayne. We're
I
talking
have.
about here about Legacy. This will be your first Legacy.
Yes.
Is there where you get to get all dolled up for that?
Yes, absolutely. All of us women like to do that.
I'm curious, as a Chamber Director, what do you see the vision, your job? What's the purpose of your job as a Chamber Director?
Primarily, I think, is getting the community involved. I see our Chamber as being, our business, our community driven, and that get them engaged, get feedback from them, let them drive the boat, so to speak, as to where we want to take it. The first thing I want to work on, though, is, of course, I've got to get out in the community and, get my face out there and meet those that I don't know and get reacquainted with the ones that I do know. While member growth is very important, I think member retention is just as important. I think we've got a lot of great members. We've got some that are very active, but we've also got some that are just, they're members, and they've become stagnant for the lack of knowing what to do, or they just haven't been plugged in. So I think one of the first things I want to do is kind of get our current members more involved, and then, of course, grow.
Okay.
The Chamber's got a great group of volunteers and the board, so I'm sure you met with them. So how's that relationship building?
Going pretty well. Monday I had an outpouring of phone calls and emails from volunteers, our ambassadors, a lot of our members just welcoming me, and it was just awesome I felt very welcomed. I've had the opportunity to meet some of our volunteers, some of our board members, some I've not met with. Hope to do that in the next few days.
And who will be your new chairman coming in on July 1st? You got a new board and chairman to be working with.
Yes, Jody Ammons.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, she'll be coming in July 1st.
All right, Chandler's ready to hand that gavel. That's always the big event.
Yes.
The dinner.
At the
When I hand the gavel, you see a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
You might throw it at her.
I saw Jeff this weekend. I said, well, you finally got a new chamber. He said, and it's such a relief to finally have that position filled. So,
yeah, he came by yesterday and entertained for a little bit. So
yes, he was glad that, but again, we wish you the best. Like we said, this is probably the first of many times we'll be on the show.
Absolutely.
But go ahead and plug the Legacy Dinner one more time and
Yes,
tell
absolutely.
people.
The
so
Legacy
tickets are
Dinners-
on sale, right?
Yes, we still have tickets on sale. You can come by or call the chamber office. The Legacy Dinner is our 6th annual Legacy Dinner. It's Thursday, June the 28th at 7 p.m. at Pine Forest Country Club. Our presenting sponsor is Papa John's. We're real excited about that. We have a few in-kind sponsors. Those are Southern Posh and Weddings, the IDA, and Wayne County Magazine.
Okay. And have you read over all the information? I know when a person becomes a chamber member or you're out there talking to businesses about becoming members of chamber, there's a whole packet of information that you give to them on the benefits of being a member of the Chamber of Commerce. Have you had a chance to look over all that?
I have. It's been hit or miss on some of the things that I've been looking at in the last couple of days. But yes, I've looked at some of that. And I've had that question since I took the job. There's so many members that, are just basic members just to say they're a member of the chamber, but they don't really understand or know the full benefits. And
that's where the ambassadors come in.
Absolutely.
And that was a great program that was added several years ago because the staff only has X amount of time to be able to do stuff. So the ambassadors are the ones that can go out there and say, all right, here's the group of businesses I need to work with and keep them informed and represent the chamber to
yes, and they do a wonderful job.
Yeah, they do. That is very, very good for the chamber to have the ambassadors and all the volunteers. Have the award winners been selected yet for the Legacy, or are y'all still working on that?
Still working on that.
Okay.
Yes.
And there's several different ones, Distinguished Service Awards, and many other ones that will be given out.
We've got several awards. I think those will be, I think by the end of the week we'll have those settled on.
Okay. Dina Bennett is in the studio with us this morning. She's the new Executive Director of the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce. And we wish, Dina, you absolutely the best there. And, you're local. You've got a great background from what we were talking about out in the green room. And we wish you the absolute best there. And, of course, we're always here at the radio station for you to be able to come on either live on the Butch and Bob Show, send us press releases, call Bob up and give him some information, or just the staff. We just want to inform the public about what's going on with our Wayne County Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you guys taking the time to meet with me this morning.
Okay. And anything else that you'd like to pass along to our listeners out this morning, Dina? Anything at all that is on your mind that you thought, well, I'd like to talk about this on the Butch and Bob Show, or did we cover most everything?
No, I think we covered most everything. I've hit the ground running, but there's a lot of ground to cover, so just be patient with me. I'm going to do my best to get out in the next few weeks and get my face out there and meet a lot of our businesses, especially the ones that I don't already know.
Now we've got, go ahead, Bob.
I was going to say, you mentioned your family, but you want to tell who your family is.
Okay, yeah, sure. My husband is Matt Bennett. We've been married 17 years. Matt is born and raised in Wayne County, Gardi area. And we have a daughter, Faith. She's 8, and she goes to school at Scriven Elementary. She'll be a 3rd grader starting in August. Do have some other family here in Wayne County, but most of my family's from the Pierce County area.
Okay. Well, we got a second set of guests coming on here, but both of these folks, Sharon Corson and Donnie Ray, are very actively involved in the chamber.
Yes, they are.
And you'll be spending quite a bit of time around them as they'll be helping you out as volunteers for the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a quick break here, and then we'll have our second set of guests on. Anything else for Dina this morning?
Appreciate you coming in. Like I said, look forward to the Legacy Dinner.
Yes, thank you again.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment here on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show.
Good morning, everyone. We begin with partly cloudy skies. Temperatures today will make that quick climb into the upper 80s, sprinkled in a slight chance of an afternoon shower or storm. For our Thursday forecast, much the same. Plenty of sun, slight chance of a shower or storm in the afternoon, upper 80s, low 90s. The chance of a shower or storm does get better on Friday and again on Saturday, but temperatures stay in the upper 80s and low 90s. I'm Georgia meteorologist Laura Huckabee in the GNN Weather Center.
105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO, world famous Butch and Bob Show for this Wednesday morning. It is the 6th day of the 6th month of 2018. And let's see here. I can get back to that later. Well, Bob, we got a second set of guests on here. I understand that you called Donnie Ray up and said we need to talk about hurricanes.
Hurricane season started June the 1st, and again, as everybody knows, has lived in Wayne County the last several years. We've been impacted by hurricanes the last several years. In fact, there was a topic last night. Not going to get as much money from FEMA as we thought for the city of Jesup. That was kind of bad news. We're supposed to get $458,000, now down to $185,000. But
yeah.
Again,
Donnie, before you start there, just in case, we have listeners who have probably no idea who you are. Say who you are and what you run here in Wayne County.
I'm Donnie Ray, and I'm over the director of the Emergency Management Agency of Wayne County.
Okay, now you can start.
That about last night. That the first was just an estimate, but once we got into it, we wasn't able to claim all we wanted to. So that's the reason it come down. The first number was just an estimate.
So they only paid for overtime, right?
Yes, sir. They only paid for overtime. They didn't that.
Not the regular salaries.
Okay. Yes, sir.
All right.
Which cut our, the protective measures, what they called it, like, I think now we're going to get back about $20,000. We're spending a little bit more.
Okay.
I just thought the funny thing was you said we're working with the 5th FEMA representatives. So they must have a lot of turnover in that department.
Yeah, during Matthew we had a guy named Mike the entire time, and he stayed with us.
Yeah, and he was a nice guy.
He was
very helpful.
Yeah, well, we on our 5th one right now. We didn't even get to meet number 4. I'm just talking
what do they
on the
do?
phone.
Just move away, move out of the.
They've got so many disasters going on. They're moving them around.
Okay, they should move around that.
But again, hurricane season starts June 1st. Just wanted to get you in here. Now's the time to prepare.
Correct.
Can't wait till the hurricane is on the coast. You gotta make preparation now. So if you live in Wayne County, just what are some of the necessities that people need to go and have in their home during this hurricane season?
First thing, you always, to me, you're going to have a NOAA radio for alerts, and also listen to your local station on what's going on, because there's always something going on in the tropics anymore. And this year they're actually predicting more hurricanes be named and more storms out there. Matter of fact, some is going to the high 16 named storms this year, which is a lot compared to what we've been.
But we had several years that are basically of being quiet.
Correct.
And then, of course, the last year or so, this kicked in big time. Last couple of years.
But what I was going to say, as far as what you need, now is the time to go ahead and get your hurricane packet ready. Go ahead and plan where you're going to go. Let your family members know where you're going to go. Come up with a plan of, find a friend outside the county that you can go stay with. But, it's good to have a little box made up. I've got one I keep in my truck. It's got the basics. You order your food, non-perishable foods,
batteries,
yeah, batteries, a can opener, little things like that you might need for your food. Now, there's a lot of things you don't think about. But there's a website called...
a hand can opener.
Yes.
Now, not one you plug in, okay?
So I'll be without power. I was the last 2 for several days.
Yep.
But, little things like that have on it. But there's a website called Ready Georgia, and you can go there, and it's got a checklist of what all you can put in your box for you.
ReadyGeorgia.gov?
Yes, sir. Ready Georgia. You can just type in Ready Georgia, and it'll come up.
Okay.
But it's got a whole list of stuff that you can put in a little carry-off box. But the main thing I tell people, be prepared. If it's bad enough we're going to be without power 3 or 4 days, you need to, go somewhere. If you got a friend you can go to.
And people ask all the time, where do you get your information from? Where do we rely on?
I rely on mine. Most of my information comes from Jacksonville News. I'm at Jacksonville Weather Station or the actual National Hurricane Center is where I get mine from. And I said this, the Savannah stations and all them, theirs come out of Charleston, where ours come out of Jacksonville, just a little bit closer to Wayne County, so that's what I depend on. And plus, Al was one I talked to. He's been doing about 30 years.
Yeah, the Weather Center down there in Jacksonville, which I had a chance to visit several years ago, is the one that is the most accurate for Southeast Georgia.
Yes.
As you said, it's the closest. It's the one that the Savannah TV stations and radio stations get their weather forecast for this area from Charleston.
Correct.
And so, you know, that's where we get our weather forecast from, is from Jacksonville. I know that the emails that you send to us on the updates on weather during these situations also come from the Weather Center there in Jacksonville.
Correct. And Jacksonville's the one that got the snow prediction right, too.
They sure did, didn't they? Here it is. Ready, Georgia, make your own ready kit. There's a whole bunch of stuff right there, and I'm not going to go into all of them. But water, food, can openers, we were just talking about there. Yes. Battery-powered radio, emergency charger. We don't think about that emergency charger to have for stuff. Flashlight with extra batteries, first aid kit, a whistle.
Yeah, that's one of the things that was interesting to the last
Sharon
person that we
Corson's
talked
here
to.
also, folks, for EMA here in Wayne County. Good morning, Sharon.
Good morning, Butch. One of the things that we talked about the last time we had a discussion with people was the whistle, and they wanted to know why a whistle. So just think about if the tornado in Scriven had been worse and people were trapped. That's one of the reasons for a whistle. If you have a situation where you can't yell out, you can't you need to let somebody know where you're at.
The whistle can get a lot louder. Here's something I would have never thought about: a face mask to help filter contaminated air and plastic sheeting and duct tape to shelter in a place. So you need a face mask.
Yeah, and also with the whistle, now that you said face mask, is like when you yell, you breathe in a lot of the what's around you. It could be toxic, so that's why they tell you also use a whistle instead of yelling.
Okay, moist towelettes and garbage bags with ties on them, and a wrench or pliers to turn off utilities, and local maps. You know, I'm still one of these old-time people that have the paper maps inside my truck. I don't, you know, some of the young folks say, oh, what do you need a map for? You know, I do just put in, the electronic stuff there to be able to find where you're going. Well, you can't always depend upon that. And sometimes those services will send you around your elbow to get to your nose instead of a direct route.
Exactly.
I've got several paper maps in the rescue truck.
Have those paper maps, because just act like you don't have electricity.
Yes.
That's what you got to do. Okay, hurricane's coming. I may not have power. What do I need to replace all these electronics?
Cell service was out for a little while, especially during Matthew, I think. It was out for a couple of days, so you're not going to be able to access that GPS if you don't have service.
A hard line's good to have.
It is.
And they got all kinds of items on here, but you can just go to Ready. I think what they have here is ready.georgia.gov or something like that. Ready.ga.gov.
Yes, sir.
And it's got the things in there that you'll need for a kit.
Yes, sir.
Suggested ideas.
We have a list of the top 5 costliest U.S. hurricanes on record.
Well, go right ahead.
About that.
Inform us, Sharon.
Well, number 1 is Katrina. That was in 2005 at $161 billion. Harvey was next in 2017 at $125 billion. Then Maria in 2017 for $90 billion. Sandy in 2012 for $71 billion. And then Irma made the list from last year. 2017 was $50 billion.
Now, it'd be interesting to see how that would come down in adjusted dollars from years ago to today, because today's dollars are, not worth as much as they were. Like the one that hit South Carolina in the late 80s, was that Irma? Who was that? Hugo hit South Carolina. I was living in South Carolina at the time, and it was, it hit from down in Charleston all the way up to North Myrtle Beach, and also way inland all the way to Charlotte. And so it would be interesting to see how that would adjust in dollars and inflation through the years. But hurricanes can be very expensive because they're over a wide area.
And I was looking, we were talking about last night with the city about the how much money they was getting back. Now, the county was totally different between Matthew and Irma. During Matthew, all of our damage was caused of wind. During Irma, it was caused of the rain. So the county is actually going to get back a good bit of money because of their roads. We had so many roads damaged with the county, we're going to be around several $100,000 repairing them.
Okay.
So it's kind of difference in between them two storms. As far as county, it's going to be about the same amount of money for different stuff.
Right.
One for wind and one for rain.
I thought that was interesting here. It says also make sure you have cash on you. Because remember, if electricity's down, you can't use those debit or credit cards, which I'm a big cash user anyway.
Yeah.
Checks and cash. You know, I'm old school.
Can you find a place that takes a check anymore?
Yes, you can find checks. Lots of places take checks, you know. Tons of them. All the grocery stores do. Many of the restaurants, not all of them. Most of the stores do. Yeah.
The other thing that people have been asking us is the difference in a watch and a warning, especially when it comes like to a tornado. A watch is when there's a possibility.
Conditions are favorable.
That's right. Conditions are favorable. But then a warning is when conditions are expected to turn into. So I think a lot of people just don't understand the difference. And if you're watching for a tornado or a hurricane, just be cautious. But if there's a warning, you need to take caution.
Yeah, if it's a tornado watch, basically keep your eyes and ears open. And if it's a warning, duck under something. I'm just saying, the conditions are favorable. You know, the radar may see it. It may see the clouds moving in a pattern for a tornado, and you can't be for sure about that until somebody on the ground sees it. Is that right, Donnie?
Correct.
And sometimes they don't even pick one up. The situation in Scriven, they didn't even have rotation seen before it happened.
They didn't have the rotation, but that was very quick in and out tornado, wasn't it? Yeah.
Jacksonville's called several times with questions about it because of that reason. That they never predicted, never showed up anything. Even afterwards, they couldn't even find rotation.
They couldn't even find it. No. Wow. Well, luckily, it didn't do hardly any damage.
One thing I was going to talk about with the watch when it comes to hurricanes, the watch means that, it could be within 48 hours. You could be having like a tropical storm winds, but the warning is within 36 hours. You could have contact. But the thing about it is they want us to make a decision between 78 hours.
Oh, do they?
And we can't even get a good prediction by the time. Sometimes we have to make a decision whether to leave or not hours before they can even give us a good prediction of where it's going.
Well, we've got Donnie Ray in here and Sharon Corson from the Wayne County EMA office talking about hurricanes and tornadoes and things of that sort and things that you might need on hand. I thought one of the interesting things on here, these are the additional items. Today's kids are so electronically oriented with their smartphones and computers and TV and all that. Says one of the things to have is books, games, and puzzles and other activities for children.
Correct.
So you don't want them sitting around bored if they can't. I mean, I know some of them probably start having shakes and withdrawals if they couldn't use their electronics.
Yeah, and if you go to a shelter, let's say you don't have no friends to go to and you stay at a shelter, you're going to have to entertain your kids because they're just going to be in the empty gym for, could be for a couple of days.
Could be, yeah. At least.
And one thing about that, touch on that a little bit, Wayne County, I get called all the time about shelters around Wayne County. Mm-hmm. If we're under evacuation, like emergency plan, like they put us, they consider us one of the coastal counties, so we're so close. So they put us under a warning or watch, and we have to start evacuating. We can't shelter.
Yeah, can't shelter.
The Red Cross will not come shelter because we're having to evacuate.
I was going to ask you about the evacuation. That's another thing people get confused about, the voluntary evacuation and the mandatory evacuation. And when it comes to mandatory evacuation, who makes that decision?
It's actually the last one is we recommend it to the commissioners, and that'd be the one making it. But they have went away from voluntary evacuations. They said everybody's getting confused. So from now on, either you evacuate or you don't.
They don't say voluntary evacuation anymore.
They do not say voluntary.
They don't say voluntary anymore. Huh?
The state has went away from that. So if they even had done it during Irma, but if you notice, we word everything saying we strongly urge you. That's pretty well saying if we ever say we strongly urge you, that's saying,
Well, like I said, the last couple of years have been kind of interesting in Wayne County because we've been through some pretty bad storms. But the conversations I've had with a lot of people, last time people said, I'm just going to hang out.
Right.
But most people, after they hung out, said, you know what, if it comes again, I think I'm going to get out of here. I'm not hanging around.
That's good to hear because we worry,
most
that
people I talked to, I think it just wasn't worth hanging around.
Remember, folks, if you have any questions or comments for Donnie or Sharon this morning here, you can always text us on our main business line. Text us now, 912-427-3711, 912-427-3711. We can't answer the phone. We're live on the air, but we can read the text. We just got one that says, didn't they change the cone this year? What do they mean by that?
I don't think they changed the cone.
What's a cone?
The cone is actually to predict the path of the hurricane.
Okay. All right.
And they'll have a cone of uncertainty both ways.
Right.
Now, they're doing it different colors. Might be what they're talking about. You know, you got different percentages of where it could go.
Could go this way. Could this? 10% this way, 80% this way. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
And the thing I want to tell people is just like this last one, Alberta. You know, we got a lot of rain off of it. Which it was not a hurricane, but we got a lot of rain off of it, where everybody kept saying, well, the cone's going to hit around Mississippi or Louisiana. Okay, that's where the eye's going to hit. You still have all the rain on the right-hand side of it for miles going out. So that's just the cone is the prediction of the eye. Now, the spaghetti cone, which they call, is all the different zigzags you see going. That's just some estimated guesses from different people, like Canada has theirs, United States has theirs.
Which direction it's going to go in, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But and those things they're so hard to predict on which direction they're going to go in. They can kind of guess, but they don't know for sure. As I've mentioned several times before, when I was down there in Jacksonville at the National Weather Service down there, they said like a hurricane's like a big top on a table. You pull the string, you got the top, and it's going around and around. And if you blow on it, or whatever you may do, it'll change directions. And as big as hurricanes are, and as powerful as they are, if they've got those winds coming in from whatever direction, usually the north or the west or the south, in that direction, they can move in any direction.
Yeah, just like back to Matthew. There, one time we thought the eye was going to come right through us, 100-mile-an-hour winds, but it turned 25 miles, and it made a big difference.
Boy, that made a big difference.
How we got our effect from it.
Now, what about mandatory evacuation? You've got a lot of folks, and including my youngest son Chad and his wife. They came in, last fall and stayed with me out in Kayville because it was mandatory evacuation for Glenn County.
Yes.
I know some folks who lived on St. Simons who did not leave and kind of rode it out.
Yes.
What frustrated a lot of folks was you had people riding all around Glenn County who stayed, but the folks who went out of Glenn County could not get back in.
Correct.
And it frustrated a lot of them, and a lot of them said, I'm not leaving next time.
Yes.
What's going to happen with that?
We've heard the same thing. But the people that stay, what they got to realize, if you stay and you have something simple, broken foot or something, we can't get to you. I mean, that's mainly what it is. We can't, once the winds get so high and the storm gets so bad, we do our best, but, at certain times, you're not going to be able to get to them, and they might be there for a while.
Okay.
The reason we urge people, mostly with medical issues, to go first. If there's an evacuation, anybody with medical issues, especially with an oxygen machine or anything like that that's going to require power, they really do need to go.
And that's one of the things they suggest. Make sure that you get your medications refilled at anything medical that you may need. Just act like you may not be able to get to any of it for a week or two. Someone just texted in, where is the best news and information to watch for weather updates, Savannah or Jacksonville? Of course, listening to WIFO 105.5 FM will keep you updated. But from what you were talking about, the best information for southeast Georgia comes from Jacksonville.
Jacksonville weather, yes, sir.
Yeah, but the Jacksonville TV stations really don't talk that much about southeast Georgia. Savannah does.
Correct.
So that makes it a little weird there. The best weather forecast for southeast Georgia comes from Jacksonville, but most people where we live watch the Savannah TV stations, and their weather forecasts go from Charleston. So that's the reason why on our website and on 105.5 FM, we use your weather forecast that you get from Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So you just kind of got to hit and miss there.
And, we when the storm starts coming, a lot of people don't realize, there's a lot that goes into it, but every 2 hours we on a phone conference with anywhere from around 171 people sometimes, and we're actually on the one with Florida. So our my briefings are actually from Florida and all that. Now, we can get on the one and listen to Charleston and all that, but our briefings actually with the ones, I think we're from Long County down, I think it is from Jacksonville.
So Jacksonville's the most is the most accurate, and they're the ones who really predict the best. That's the reason why I give the weather forecast in the morning. I say weather forecast for Wayne and surrounding counties, because the weather forecast that I am reading is exactly for Wayne County and surrounding counties. Somebody wants to know which model is more accurate, American or European? I have no idea what they're saying, but I'm sure you do, Donnie.
It's kind of funny is the Canadian got the Irma one right. They say the European's a little bit better, but
You're in what?
they're the one we was talking about, the spaghetti prediction they do.
Uh-huh.
That European does one, the American does one. You have like 15 different ones.
But they don't get very much hurricanes in Europe.
No. And,
I mean, so what? We got a lot more practice at it than they do.
It's
it
just
seems like it.
Yeah, you said you've been down to the Hurricane Center down there in Miami, and you thought when you walked in you'd see this nice big building and the staff of all these experts, and you got a couple of weather geeks sitting there forecasting the whole thing, right?
Once this named storm, you'll have 2 people watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I thought it was going to be a huge building. It's just a little block built, was actually double block building.
Yeah. You can't beat that cedar block. You know, a couple of layers of that on the sides and the top and all that kind of stuff. You're safe.
Yes. But you do have, you got 2 working, but it was kind of amazing the technology they got. It's unreal what all was in that little building.
Yeah, I remember when they had the open house there at the EMA office there at the 911 center on Walnut Street, and I was just impressed with all the technology you have there and what y'all go through during a disaster there, whether it's a storm, a hurricane, tornado, whatever the case may be.
Yes. And, we have as long as we don't have a natural disaster going on, if, people want to come tour, we're more than welcome. They can just contact us, and we'll take them over a tour of our facility.
It's amazing, folks. It really is, and what y'all do there. And yes, they do have cots there for Donnie and to sleep in, so they don't have to leave and keep the weather up to date.
Yes.
But Donnie Ray does send us regular updates all the time when we have a hurricane or tornado coming or anything of that sort.
Yes. And like I said, we always appreciate y'all letting us on here to talk about it during the storm.
Yeah.
We got a lot of comments even from the state on how well people from Wayne County are saying they was informed, and that comes from, us and y'all and working together.
Yeah, because they can get it on 105.5 FM. They can get it on our website at bigdogcountry.com. They can get it on their smartphone with a free app, so we'll keep the people informed. We are here when those natural disasters are going on.
Yes, sir.
Sharon, anything else on your mind this morning?
I do. I really want to hit on when there is an evacuation for people to understand. If you choose to stay, just know that if you can't get out, we can't get out.
That's right. Y'all not going to put yourself in risk.
There's a certain point where we are not allowed to go out. So if you decide to stay, definitely be prepared for what's coming and know that if you get in a situation, we may not be able to get to you right then.
It's the same thing with the power companies and the gas companies. They're not going to put their employees at risk to go out there and repair the power pole or repair a gas line or anything like that until it's safe for them to go out. And it's the same thing with the sheriff's department, police department, the EMA. Y'all cannot go out to put somebody's life at risk. Now, we have had John Carter say that if it's a total emergency, they'll get one of their super duper vehicles down there that's that's made for this kind of stuff and try to go help, but not as a standard they won't.
Yeah, during Matthew, we had several medical calls that we had to go to.
But y'all got vehicles or a vehicle or two that can go through that, but you're not going to use it unless you just have to be in a medical emergency.
Correct.
And if we have a storm that's more extreme than what we've experienced so far, I mean, it will be impossible.
Okay.
If we have one.
Well, we've always been kind of safe down here in southeast Georgia with us kind of tucked in, curved in like that. Most of them have gone past us up to the Carolinas, but we found out in the last year or so that it doesn't always happen.
That's right.
And by you saying that, when I went to the National Hurricane Center, there's like 30 of us that they invited, and the guy said, "Who's here from Georgia?" And there was 2 of us raised our hand, and he goes, "You better be prepared."
Yeah, you're overdue.
Yeah, and I called him after Matthew. I called him. I was like, how'd you know? He goes, you can't always dodge him.
Yeah, that's true. Donnie Ray and Sharon Corson here from the Wayne County EMA office. Thank y'all so much for coming in. And thank you for helping us keep our listeners here in southeast Georgia updated during these hurricanes, tornadoes, and other events that go on.
Thank you. You guys came in during that storm, too.
Yes. All right. Y'all take care. Have a good day. All right, the world-famous Butch and Bob Show brought to you by Mike Birch Ford in Blackshear, by Jesup Premium Stores located out here on the Waycross Highway, and also brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply, Northeast Broad Street in downtown Jesup, just down from the Big Red Caboose. Jeff Foxworthy is coming to Wild Adventures to perform his comedy act this Saturday. Coming up soon, we're going to give away 4 free passes to go to Wild Adventures this week all the way through Saturday. You don't necessarily have to use them this Saturday, but if you do use them Saturday, you'll be able to see Jeff Foxworthy. That's part of the admission to Wild Adventures. We'll give those tickets away in just a few moments. The time now is 8:35. You're listening to The Big Dog, WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup. Let's check in the latest news from Fox News Radio.
More races are set for the November midterms. I'm Chris Foster, Fox.